Almost every challenge you're going through right now is in one way or another connected to your self-esteem. Is it challenges in your relationships? Is it your insecurities, your self-doubt? Sometimes even problems that you think are about money can be traced back to how you see yourself. So in this first episode that is simple and short, I want to show you why that is true. Not in a motivational way, but in a real, honest, practical way. Because most people misunderstand self-esteem. They think that it's about being loud. That is not true. Self-esteem is very quiet. It is internal. It is the relationship that you have with yourself when nobody is watching. So that when your self-esteem is healthy, you feel like life is expandable. You feel like you can do anything. You keep trying. You overcome challenges as they arise. But when your self-esteem is damaged, life feels very restrictive. You stop trying. You stop being curious. You stop hoping. And you just give up easily. When I came to America, I had a goal in mind. And that was to achieve my dreams. But also importantly, I wanted to meet someone I can spend the rest of my life with. So I dated a couple of people, but there was a girl that I met. She was beautiful. She was always happy, always smiling, always lively. She was part of a group. I was also a member of that group. It was a social group. And I got to talk to her. And while we were talking, she said something to me. She said, "Solomon, I just got out of rehab." And I said to myself in my mind, I said, just hold on, just slow down, get to know this person first before you go further with this relationship. And we became friends. We started talking and she was so happy. When we were in the group, she was so happy, so lively, always smiling on the front end. But on the back end, she was dark. The kind of conversations that she would have, very dark conversations. And I remember trying to get her to be happy, to be, lively, trying to motivate her, to make her feel good. And she just, one particular day, she just laughed and just told me, "Solomon, don't even try. Don't even try to make me happy." I was conflicted. I was, surprised. Why would one person at one time is so happy and at the same time, the same person, so dark? It was a strange dichotomy for me. And one day I went to the group. We had a meeting and I went to the group and I was looking around for Jay. Where's Jay? Where is Jay? Jay was nowhere to be found. She had committed the most egregious thing that someone can do to themselves. I was devastated. And here is the sad part. Here's what breaks my heart. 6 years from the time that I came into America, 3 people had done the same thing. And that includes Jay. And it made me begin to think about, that idea. Why would somebody, take their own lives? This is what I found out. A person has to reach a place where they believe that their life is no longer worth it, or that the pain they're going through is so much and so strong that life is not worth preserving to put an end to it. When a person's sense of self-worth is deeply damaged, life itself can become unbearable. Research upon research consistently show a strong connection between a low self-esteem and suicidality. And now such dangerous emotional outcome is the most extreme expression of self-aggression. But here is what is most important. Low self-esteem does not only manifest in such extremes. Low self-esteem manifests on our decisions on a daily basis. For instance, you want to start a business, but you're terrified of failing. So you stay where you are, not because you're not capable or because you're not good, but because you failed before and now your self-worth is bruised. Or maybe you just avoid social situations, not because you don't like people, but you feel like you're not good enough, or you don't belong, or you're not as good as them. Or maybe you've been single and you don't make any effort to actually be in a relationship. Or worst of all, you stay in a toxic and abusive relationship because deep down you feel like you're not lovable. And I'm not even talking about your inability to set boundaries. I'm not talking about jealousy or anxiety or depression or the inability to take risk or self-respect. Something as simple as just respecting yourself. All of these can be traced back to one big question. How do you see yourself? But here is the problem. You don't wake up in the morning thinking about your self-esteem. You think about your weight, you think about your appearance, you think about your bank balance, you think about all of these things. Why? Because these things, they are very visible. So you pay attention to them and direct your effort to the things that you can see with your eyes. For instance, you're conscious about your weight because it is visible both to you and to other people. And so you try to do something about it so that you can look your best. But as for your self-esteem, it's not visible. So you don't even think about it. But it quietly runs your life. And that is why so many people are stuck. Even when they're smart, they're capable, they're hardworking, because their self-esteem stands as an obstacle to growth and progress. Because your self-esteem has more power over your life than your weight, than your bank account, than your height, than your skin color. So my goal with this first episode of this podcast is very simple. I just want you to pause. I want you to think about your life right now. The patterns, the struggles, the places where your life just feels stuck. And just ask yourself one honest question. Is it possible that at the root of this is how you see yourself? Is that possible? If you change how you view your worth, if you change how you view your value as a person, your right to exist as a person, how would that change your life? And that question alone is the beginning of transformation. I want to ask you something simple and meaningful. If this episode made you reflect, or if you recognize yourself in any part of this conversation, that means your self-esteem matters more than you may even realize. And here is the truth. Most people never work on their self-esteem intentionally. They just reflect on life and hope that things get better. But this podcast exists so that you don't have to be that person that just reacts to life. So I want you to understand yourself better. I want you to break cycles of self-doubt, to build confidence that doesn't disappear when life gets hard. And if you know someone, a friend, a sibling, a partner who struggle with confidence and self-doubt, you can share this podcast with them, because sometimes just one conversation is enough to start a transformation. My name is Solomon Asine, and this is Mindset Makeover. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.